My special guests are the parents of quarterback Jim Kelly, Joe and Alice Kelly. And Joe, let me start with you. In ever your wildest imagination, did you think that your son would be accomplishing the goals he's accomplishing in his rookie season?
Well, right now he's accomplishing a lot earlier than I expect him, but I knew he would be great in the future, but this a lot sooner than I expected.
Alice, let me ask you this. How important was it for you to attend the game where hopefully he'll break the touchdown record?
Well, it was exciting because our other boys are here too, so just having the family here is great. And hello to everybody in East Brady.
One final question, Joe. Your son may have 5 records, American Pro Football records, before the season's done. Which one's the most important to you?
To me, his passing record is the most important to me. I knew he had the ability when he was young. He started passing, he worked hard at it, and I always figured that that's one of the greatest things he can do.
All right, there you have it. Joe and Alice Kelly, confident that their son can do the job. They're just hoping the Chicago Blitz doesn't rise up and spoil Jim Kelly's day.
Chicago kicking off. This is Kevin Seibel. Back to receive. Clarence Verdun at the goal line. Gets up to about the 16-yard line where the Houston Gamblers will take over. Return of 16 yards for Clarence. Jim Kelly. He will pass, of course, over the middle. He's got Mosier there. Kelly wastes little time getting the old arm unfolded, does he, Ken?
Well, he threw it to Mosier, who's reading the defense, and we'll talk more about that later. It's a defensive alignment. It's a 4-2, and there you see the down lineman for Chicago. They have to get pressure on Jim Kelly. They'll get help from those 2 linebackers. Normally 3 linebackers. Today it'll be 2, 5 defensive backs, and they're all pretty good for Chicago. But
first down, Houston, 29-yard line. That is Sanders in motion. Kelly in some trouble. He is down at the 19-yard line. Mike Morgan back there along with Dennis Puha.
Barbolini had said he's going to blitz a lot in this game. Actually, the protection on that play was pretty good. Kelly had time, but the coverage downfield was tight, and Kelly couldn't find a receiver. That's what you have to do. You got to get to Kelly, cover the receivers. It's just basic football. Problem is, it's not a basic offense. The run and shoot is an offense that you only play once a year, maybe twice a year, as in Chicago's case, and you just have to adapt to it.
20-yard line for Houston. Kelly, quick pass, left side, flares it out to Sanders. He's got some room. Across the 40, makes a move to the 45, escapes across the midfield, strike, big gainer for Houston. Carlton Peoples makes the tackle.
That's what you're supposed to do, get rid of the ball. Watch the cornerback. He came up too soon. Sanders got outside the corner, and now it's to the races here. A good play here in the deep secondary by Peoples to save a touchdown. But that's what Houston will do to you. It'll spread you out, make you one-on-one, and if you miss a tackle, there they go, down the field.
Jim Kelly comes in needing 313 yards in the air to break Dan Fouts' all-time single-season professional mark for yardage in his season. Todd Fowler going nowhere. Brought down by Ken Kelly. Kelly looking left. Fires it out. That is Sanders. Good move to escape one man and dips out of bounds at the 43. Ricky Sanders is the number 2 receiver in the USFL. Last week, 8 catches, 91 yards, and 4. Houston, the 43-yard line of Chicago. That's Johnson in motion. Kelly looking out on the sideline. He's got Scott McGee at the 25. He is hit immediately, but it's another first down for Houston. Tommy Wilcox, former All-American from Alabama, makes the stop.
Well, remember, this is a reading offense. It's almost a zone offense. The guys are looking for an open spot. Now, there's 2 receivers open on this play. As Kelly takes the snap, he only needs 3 or 4 yards. He looks short, but then sees McGee down in the seam, curling inside that backer. They're a great hit, too, by the defensive man, and McGee won't soon forget that one. However, Houston has the first down. It was Ron Harris from Georgia making the hit.
Moving the football. Again, Kelly, good rush, gets it off. This time it's Johnson. Just short of the Lions, by the way, the only man ever to play in every Blitz football game, all 34, spanning 2 seasons. So far, Kelly, 5 of 5, 73 yards. He's going to try to put it up again. Strong rush, look out. Gets it off, but it's incomplete. His first incompletion of the day. Ken Kelly put on some pressure there right in Kelly's face, as did Tommy Wilcox out of the secondary.
Marv Levy said he was going to send everybody. They're not naming the blitz for nothing. Hey, right? They're going to come for 2, and they'll send 2 more, or at least 1 more. They'll send 7 men. Coverage downfield there. You have to go to man coverage when you do that, and you have to cover downfield. In that particular case, all the receivers were covered, but remember, they're inside the 25-yard line. There's less field to cover. Levy knows what kind of a job he has cut out for him today.
3rd down and 6. We are early in the first quarter. Kelly. Mosier. He's got some room. Fairly close to the touchdown. They will spot it at the 1-yard line. Kelly to Mosier. Good job spinning away. Almost a touchdown, which would have made the all-time record for American Pro Football single-season mark.
Both Kelly and Mosier read the blitz. You see them, here they come. It's man coverage. Mosier cut it inside on the post pattern. See, had one-on-one on the defensive back. A missed tackle, and that's going to cost him another 9 yards down to the 1. Houston knocking on the door.
Good look at Ricky Sanders. That's the 4th first down, all passing. This is touchdown for Houston. That's Sam Harrell just in the game for Todd Fowler. The Gamblers on the board. Sam Harrell. They will try it again. Tony Fritz, the veteran. It's up and it's good. Tony Fritz will kick it off. Vic James is back to receive for Chicago. To Squibber, 22-yard line. Down to about the 27. That's Vince Stroth. Offensive tackle. Chicago will take it over. Let's go down the field right now and see what Jim Bergamo is up to. I believe he has Sam Harrell just scored the touchdown to make it 7-0. Jimmy?
We do have Sam Harrell here. Sam, the big question, how does the leg feel? It appeared to be okay.
Well, I've been out several weeks now. Had a great time in the recuperate, and I feel good out here today, and I'm just about well. I'm about 95%. So I had to come out and test it today and see how it's going to feel.
All right, Sam, good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
You see the blitz offense, a lot of movement, deception. As Larry Cannon, the big fullback, gets some room and pulls his way to the 37-yard line. Larry Cannon has been a pleasant surprise this year for the Chicago Blitz. He's gained 758 yards this year, a 5.4 average, an excellent average for a fullback. Ron Rees, for the second week, is starting in place of the veteran Vince Evans. 1st and 10, the handoff this time. And he's got nothing. That is Vegas Ferguson, former All-American from Notre Dame. Kiki Diala, a man you will hear about all afternoon long. Houston Gamblers defensive line. Cleveland Pittsburgh Crosby, one of the great names of all time, at left end. Linebackers, you got Hawkins, Diala, and Brock. In the secondary, Mitchell, Lewis, Eason, and Tommy Myers, the longtime veteran for the New Orleans Saints, who has made a really big difference for this Houston club defensively the past several games. 2nd and about 11, 37-yard line for Chicago. Ron Rees' first pass is complete. Chris Haynes in the far side. 3rd and 4 situation. Twin set. He's got Canada. Big pressure. Gets it off. It is dropped at midfield. That ball intended for Mark Keel, the tight end. So, 4th down situation. Ron Reeves walks off. Played for Kansas City and Cleveland. In fact, was the number 4 punter in the AFC back in 1982. He's got a 41.6 average. Gets it away with no problem. Beautiful looking kick. McNeil back at about the 6. He's got some room. Bounces off one man. He is still on his feet. Look out. 30, 40, 45. Across midfield. Remarkable job by Gerald McNeil.
Take a look at at the hit that McNeil takes, and the reason he stays up is because he gets it square, and that man has to wrap his arms around. So that's one thing a lot of times you don't do on kicks defensively is wrap your arms. McNeil gets hit square, he goes backwards but stays up, and then it just becomes a foot race. Chicago wins the foot race but loses a lot of yardage in the meantime.
7:10 to go, first quarter. Kelly again going up top. It is picked off. No. Caught out there by McNeil. Looked for a moment as if it was picked off. McNeil makes the play all the way down to the 40-yard line. Carlton Peoples makes the stop.
One of the things that'll drive a defensive coach crazy is when the defense is there, it works, you've got the play doped out, and you don't catch the ball. There's no way that ball gets to the receiver. Great concentration by McNeil. Mike Fouts, he looked like the receiver went right through his arms, and Houston gets the big gain.
We thought Fouts and the blitz and interception turns out to be a 40-yard gainer for McNeil. And he's having a heck of a day so far. Great punt return, which was called back in the 40-yard reception. The Gamblers moving again. That is Sanders in motion. The draw to Fowler across the 40, but not much more. Malcolm Taylor, the big left end, makes the stop. 2nd and 7. Kelly to Sanders. Jumps out at the 30-yard line. Very close to the first down. Houston fans not all that excited the way he was thrown out of bounds.
Let's take a look at the Chicago defense here. As you see him jumping around, faking the blitz. They play soft here on the near side. See Sanders come underneath there, almost a little bit of a pick. Two defensive players together in the middle of the field, which is not good. These guys should be reacting to the ball, and they pick up the yardage that they need. Confusion is a key for Houston. They will confuse a defense. Sanders, that was his 3rd reception for 42 yards.
Sanders making a move on his teammate Johnson today, perhaps.
Sounds like a law firm, Sanders and
He only trails him by 73. Boy, first down for Kelly, just taking it himself.
Quarterback sneak, and it was just the center and Kelly. And that is legal. They sit on the line and they let just the center snap the ball, and he goes. And a lot of times the defense won't move because they're going on movement in front of him. If the guy in front of him doesn't move, they won't move, so it's usually the center against one man and then the quarterback.
Obviously worked well for Jack Party that time, and the Houston Gamblers first down. They're on the 27-yard line. Kelly. McGee, incredible catch, 16-yard line. Drops the football. Sanders recovers. It might be down at the 16 before the fumble, before the ball popped loose. And that was a one-hand miraculous grab by Scott McGee.
These guys get plenty of practice catching the ball. McGee right in the right corner of your screen. Watch this, one hand. They do run a drill like this in practice where they make you catch it with one hand. Evidently McGee was studying hard when they had that drill. Super catch. Tipped it up, caught it with both hands. Another first down. Chicago's not playing all that bad a defense. They're just not making the play.
McGee coming off a good week last week against Denver, had 3 receptions, 56 yards, and a touchdown. The give this time is to Fowler, looking for some space, gets about 3. Gabrielson, the linebacker, along with Mike Fox, bring Todd down. Todd last week, all-time USFL single-game record for rushing, 208 yards. And that broke Sam Harrell's record established earlier in the year.
And the two top rushers, or the two guys that had the best games, are with the #1 passing offense in the USFL, which is kind of odd if you think about it. Harrell and Fowler in a one-back offense, both of them have the top games this year, all-time in the USFL.
2nd and 5. Houston 161 yards passing already. Kelly, Johnson, can he get in? Yes. Now the applause you hear not only for the Houston touchdown, but for Jim Kelly's 37th touchdown pass of the year. That surpasses Y.A. Tittle and George Blanda for a single-season American pro football record. Jim Kelly is ecstatic.
And the little guy you saw pat him on the behind there was Mouse Davis. And maybe half the ball ought to go to Mouse. It's Mouse's offense, and Jim runs it. But between the two of them, they've made some inroads in professional football.
Fritsch. The kick is good. And Houston.
Wide open receiver. A little juke and into the end zone. Kelly can go short, he can go long, and he's done it 37 times.
What a thrill for Jim Kelly. Went to East Brady High School in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Graduated in a class of 75. Went on to the University of Miami, an All-American there. And now in his first year in professional football. Everybody thought he would be a star, but no one anticipated quite the season he has had this year.
I want to know what he's going to do next year. By the end of his career, he's going to have a garage full of footballs.
His parents must be very, very happy about now. Jim Kelly and the Gamblers ahead by 2 touchdowns. Vic James back to receive for Chicago. The kick, line drive type at the 15-yard line. That's Vic James. The ball is loose. Who's going to recover? It's out of bounds, and Chicago will retain possession. That was dangerous, Kevin. So Chicago will take over. They've got a 14-point deficit already. Going to have to get that offense cracked up. Let's now go down to the field. Our sideline reporter, Jim Bergamo. Jim, what do you have for us, buddy?
All right, Jim, I've got to ask you this. After you throw number 37, how does it feel?
Great, I'll tell you what. But I got credit to my receivers. They're making some good catches and good routes, and the offensive line playing real good. Did this one for my family are here. I love them all.
Were you a little disappointed when you didn't get it on that first drive?
Well, no, not disappointed. Just I wanted it, but we scored. That's the main thing.
All right, thank you, Jim. Good luck the rest of the game.
Thank you, Jim. Ron Reeves. That's Vegas Ferguson. Makes the cut. Inside. Good for about 3. Vegas Ferguson, the name probably sounds familiar, and there's good reason. Vegas, a number 1 draft choice by New England. 2nd and 7 for Chicago, their own 47-yard line. Reeves puts it up. He's got Haynes. And Haynes scoots out of bounds. First down, Chicago. 46-yard line. Reeves taken down. Chicago territory. Hosea Taylor makes the play.
Houston defense playing a lot better, but this looks like it may be a blown play. Reeves, a little indecision, gets out of there slowly. Nothing slow about the Gambler defense as Taylor comes and covers him for a big loss.
They're going to mark it right smack dab in the middle of the field. 2nd and 15. We've got 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Reeves has got some time. The bullet pass up in the air can be intercepted. Calvin Eason tackled immediately to the 34-yard line.
They teach you if you can't make the interception, get your hands on it. Cause some confusion. You don't see the ball there, but it was tipped up in the air by one of the defensive backs, the safety. And Eason, the other half of the tip drill is run and catch it. Eason does that, and Houston gets the ball.
So once again, the Houston offense takes over. 9 minutes and 31 seconds they've had possession. The Chicago's 3:55 here in the first. Kelly again going up top. Over the middle this time, I think it's picked off, and it is. That is Ken Kelly. Brought down to 34-yard line. The ball is loose again. Does Houston recover? And they do at the 40-yard line. Wild play. Kelly intercepted by Ken Kelly of Chicago. He runs it back.
Kelly's another Penn State linebacker, 225 pounds. Now he's in position downfield. The other Kelly tries to force it. Linebackers are not that great at catching the ball, but I'll tell you, there's one thing that's even worse that they're worse at, and that's running the ball and holding on to it when you get hit. Your hands are taped. A lot of times when you get hit, there's no way you can hold on to the ball with with the perspiration and all. A bad break for Chicago, a bad break, and then a good break for Houston.
It was actually Fowler who recovered that football. McNeil, the receiver, made the hit. Kelly reversing field, intercepted. Again, this is Gabrielson. Look out. 20-yard line. Kelly tries to knock him out. He does so at the 12. 2 successive interceptions by Kelly, and that's very strange because Jim has not thrown an interception in the last 4 ball games.
I was thinking about the ovation that he got after he set that record. Concentration is a big part of professional football, and we're talking to him, and everybody's talking to him, and everybody's clapping for him, and you kind of lose it, I think. The game plan kind of goes out of your mind, you forget what you're doing, and Jim comes back, he throws 2 interceptions. Chicago's got to be happy.
Intensity somehow dissipates after a moment like that, and perhaps just relaxed a little too much. Reeves to Ferguson. He is hit immediately. Tony Fitzpatrick, a loss of a couple of yards. Tony, one of the more aggressive members of this Houston defense out of the University of Miami. A little fire plug out there. 6 feet, 245 pounds. Chicago would like to take advantage of the Houston mistake. Their deepest penetration in Gamblers' territory. 15-yard line. This is Ron Reeves. Scrambling. He's down. Fitzpatrick. Tony Fitzpatrick with help from Cleveland Crosby.
One of the things when you rush the passer, you just don't rush him. You have to rush evenly. As they form a pocket, you have to form a net around that pocket. Now, see, Reeves has some running room, but look at the black shirts. They've got him circled, and when he finally does try to get out, Fitzpatrick behind him comes up and makes the tackle. That's great defense. Good form by Houston.
For Fitzpatrick, his 12th sack on the year. And that is it for the first quarter. Houston in front, 14-0. The story at the Astrodome reflected in the passing yardage stat for the first quarter. The Gamblers 152 yards, Chicago in single digits. The score 14-0. The Gamblers in front, but Chicago trying to capitalize on a Houston turnover, a Jim Kelly interception. After the sack, they've got a 3rd and 16 situation as Larry Cannon, number 35, setting up in the backfield. To the end zone, overthrown by about 7 yards. That ball intended for Marcus Anderson, the Blitz #1 receiver. This is Kevin Seibel. He's 11 of 18. 2 of 4 on kicks from the 30 to the 39. This will be 38 yards. Looks good from here, and it is. Kevin Seibel will kick it off again for Chicago. Back to receive. You've got Clarence Verdun back there along with Calvin Eason. Verdun is a heck of a return man, averaging 26.6 per return. That's #1 in the Western Conference. Who's going to grab it? That is Verdun. He's got a hole. 30, 35, slips through to the 39-yard line. And Clarence betters his average on that one. 27. That's a normal day for Clarence. Back with the rest of the first half in just a moment. Houston leads 14-3. Jim Kelly had a rough time the last possession, throwing 2 straight interceptions, the second of which set up Chicago's field goal to make it 14-3. Kelly, all kinds of time, lofts it up for Sanders, just overthrown. Ricky was wide open, too. Ron Harris and Mike Fox supplies the coverage for the Blitz. Jim going for a long one there. Let's go down to Jim Bergamo. Jimmy?
All right, thank you, Corey. With me, Ron Reeves, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Ron, you say there's not really anything that they're doing anything differently. You're just not calling the right plays at the right time.
Well, I hadn't done a very good job yet of audibling when they bring in their nickel coverage, and they hadn't brought it in as often as we suspected so far. But, you know, you don't want to get down to a good team like Houston like we have. It's a tough road to come back.
All right, good luck to you the rest of the way, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Kelly, handoff, Fowler, gets around one man, across midfield. Powers to the 44-yard line of Chicago, and that's the kind of play can really be dangerous.
Reminds me of John Riggins, back when he was with the Jets, and the Jets were throwing almost exclusively with Namath. A lot of draw plays. That's how he made the runs, Riggins did. And Fowler's a very similar back, 6'4", 218. He has yet to put on the big weight, but they say he will. And you can see when you get ahead of steam what it does to the defense, just bowls them over. This Chicago defense, by the way, gave up 31 yards in the first half to Oklahoma last week and 2 yards passing. Quite a difference.
Fowler again. Again, he has room, busting through to the 30-yard line. Todd Fowler, stopped by Donnell Daniel. Tell you what, Fowler, who is 6'4", 218. Mouse Davis told us last night he gains 15 or 20 pounds. The guy is going to be unstoppable. 5 carries, 40 yards for Todd so far today.
You ever wonder how wide you could get your eyes open? Well, if you're in a defensive secondary and you see Fowler coming, believe me, you can get him open pretty wide.
Roughest players on the entire Houston Gamblers roster. He likes to mix it up. Kelly, pumping, throwing deep to the end zone. Touchdown, Houston, Richard Johnson. Jim Kelly to Richard Johnson, number 38 on the year for Kelly, number 14 on the year for Johnson.
Let's take a look at number 22, Johnson, as he gets loose down the middle, wide open, and Kelly, with plenty of time to throw it, almost knocks him over here, does. He only hit him in the chin with the ball. Not a bad shot from about 20 or 30 yards out.
Jim Kelly made that one look easy. Gave the pump fake and put it up top. A perfect strike. Tony Fritsch is on. He'll attempt to make a 21-3, and he does. Let's take a look at this one more time, Kevin.
All right, Kelly rolls a little bit right. Chicago doesn't get any pressure. The pump is what holds the defense, and then the ball is right on the mark. If that's a little short, Harris might pick it off, but Kelly, when he's on, can find the mark.
The Kelly-Johnson combination is cooking at the Astrodome. 21-3, Gamblers. Here we go. Line shot at about the 7. Wilcox diving ahead to about the 27, 28-yard line where he's knocked out of bounds. Set back in 1980, I believe, by a man from the Toronto Argonauts by the name of John Guerrero. We're seeing some offensive records falling left and right. Larry Canada's got some room. He's got some power. Gains about 6 for Chicago. A couple of great games for you. You'll see one of those 2 games Monday night. Reeves in trouble, and he is still on his feet, and finally they're going to call a sack at about the 22-yard line. Pete Caton, the man responsible. He's the sack leader for this Houston Gamblers team, coming in with 12.5 sacks on the year. Let's watch it again, Kevin.
Well, Chicago wanted to run the ball. Marv Levy told us he would like to run the ball. He didn't want to fall behind. You never do. He has fallen behind. He's got to dump the running game. That means Houston can tee off. Pocket caves in, and Reeves is in a real bad spot. Reeves, although his stats are not good in this game, I think he's played pretty well. He's scrappy. They call him a Billy Kilmer type, although he doesn't quite have the gut that Billy had yet. But give him a few years.
Give him a few years, exactly. Good ISO shot of Pete Caton. He's a 3rd-ranked sack man in the league. 3rd and 13 for Chicago. Matter of fact, Houston with 52 sacks as a team ranks 2nd in the USFL. Reeves, the bullet pass, it is caught. And that is Mark Keel, the tight end. First reception of the day for Keel. And he's got it about the 32-yard line.
I feel like the game's out of control. You've got 3 quarters to go. It's like any other job. If things aren't going well, you just don't want to go to work. In this particular case, against this offense, it could be an awfully long day for Chicago if they don't get their offense moving.
Jeff Gossett to punt for the Blitz. Gets it off. McNeil to receive, 18-yard line. Circles around and spins for maybe 2 yards or 3. And once again, Houston goes to Jim Kelly. Pumping, throwing. Sanders at the 30.
Kelly here is having a field day. You play with a 21-3 lead early in a game like this and get this kind of protection. Look at him. He gets the pump, and then he goes underneath as he gets the crossing receiver underneath. You see right there, and the linebacker standing there. Houston, there's nothing else to say. They're in the driver's seat, and they can pick their spots.
Yeah, one point we should make, Kevin, is the kind of receivers Houston has, just perfect for this system. All nimble guys, little guys who can really move and make those kind of cuts they have to do for this kind of offense. Fowler, draw play. Looking left, looking right. Gets the first down. 5-yard gain for Fowler. Ken Times makes the tackle. There you see the stat we've been talking about it all night, all afternoon, I should say. 116 yards needed for the Gamblers to break that record held by San Diego. Nice grab, Sanders. Good little receiver. He's up to the 47-yard line, close to another first down for Houston. Mike Fox makes a tackle. First and 10, 47 of Houston. Kelly going long for Sanders, overthrown by a couple of yards. There is a flag.
You don't see the motion there. Kelly knows he's going downfield on the post to Sanders. He lays it out. He wants Sanders to run under that, but it's just a little bit out of Sanders' reach.
Not a bad little toss there, about 50 yards in the air.
Routine for Jim.
Jim can put it up. One of the few guys who perhaps has a stronger arm is on the bench for Chicago today. His name is Vince Evans. He can throw it with anybody.
Evans' problem is he's had trouble throwing the ball short, which is not uncommon for guys that have a gun. Like, he has got great athletic ability. He's got to learn to throw a little easier.
And many times in the games he's played recently, he's gotten in and into a big lead situation, or on the short side of a big lead. A flag is thrown there with Fowler making the run, and he's had to throw it long, trying to go for the big play quickly. It just hasn't worked out for him. That was about new leagues. He took Florida, the WFL, to the title back in 1974. Of course, coached the Bears and the Redskins as well. Kelly, all kinds of time, looking for Johnson, overshoots him at the 43 of Chicago. That'll be a fourth down play. Blitz. Kelly gets it off. Trying to hit Johnson on the near sidelines at about the 50. Houston fans want an interference penalty. Not going to happen. Daniel over there in the coverage. And now we're going to see a punt for Houston.
Well, Johnson doesn't even look here. Kelly reads the blitz. Johnson doesn't. You see, the ball's already in the air. Donnell had already seen it. And very close there to pass interference. If Donnell had been watching Johnson, he'd have known just not to touch him. He wasn't going to catch the ball anyway.
Dale Walters is back, and with 7 minutes and 33 seconds to go in the second quarter, his first shot at a punt this afternoon. It is high, far side, out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. That was Daniel trying to grab it out of the air in the far sideline. A win today for the Gamblers clinches the Central Division title in the Western Conference for Houston. And they're working on it. 21-3 they lead. Chicago on offense. Ron Reeves at the controls. Gives it to Vegas Ferguson. I'm sorry, that's Larry Canada. The Breakers trailing the Generals 14-7 in the second quarter. The temperature 112 degrees on the field in New Jersey, we are told. And Los Angeles leads Oklahoma 10-zip, a 77-yard punt return by Dwayne Gunn for the Express in that ball game. 10-zip, LA leading Oakland. Larry Canada so far today, 3 carries, 17 yards. This time Reeves going upstairs. He had a man there. That was Keel, the tight end, but he could not make the grab.
I think that's indicative of Reeves. Reeves is a pinpoint passer, and this is not a bad throw. Look at that, right off the hands of the receiver, as you see there. The difference between Reeves and Evans is Evans is a big play guy. He throws the ball a long way. Reeves is the type of guy that can engineer a long drive. Of course, you got to get the first one before you can get 90 yards, and Chicago hasn't been able to do that. They're not able to get first downs against this Houston defense.
These two teams met in Chicago early in the year. The Blitz lost that game. Here is a run by Larry Canada up to about 28-yard line. Sorry, Ron Reeves. Ron Ron Reeves with the play up to about the 29-yard line.
That was the play that Kelly ran for a first down. It was a little quarterback sneak. They get the jump on us. There's a look at Evans. Evans is a great athlete. He's had a little bit of problem finding that short receiver. That's why they put Reeves in there, and they think Reeves can do more things. Not that he's a better athlete, but that he can do more things. One of them is run a quarterback draw, which he just did.
It's a first down of the second quarter. Reeves on the keeper, ball the 29-yard line. Reeves throwing low to the near side. 21 yards through the air so far for Ron Reeves here in the first half. Going to try to gain some right now. Going long, he's got a man open there, but underthrows him at the 30-yard line. That was Vegas Ferguson out of the backfield.
The difference between Evans and Reeves is a pinpoint passer, does not have a great arm, as you'll see here. You don't even see Ferguson until the end. He was so far out in front, but the ball is wide and short, and a good opportunity for Chicago. Bounces away.
Single setback is Larry Canada. Reeves will keep. Will not get the first down. Gains about 5. He is 3 yards short at the 37. Kiki Diallo makes the stop.
That was the option. Reeves ran the option. Another thing that Levy told us, we have a flag on this play, said that Reeves is about 7 or 8 pounds overweight at 6'2", 215. He'd like him to be under 215, and he doesn't have the great hip movement. Maybe with a little hip movement, he could run the option.
Maybe you should hit some discos or something. Einhorn, the new owner of the franchise in Chicago. It will not be known as the Blitz next year. And that's unfortunate. One of my favorite names in all of football, the Chicago Blitz. And many of these players, as McNeil makes the grab at the 8-yard line, heads down the near sideline. He's got some blockers, cuts back midfield. Caught at the 37-yard line. McNeil a fine punt return. Mike Fox makes the stop. But many of these Blitz players, Kevin, are playing with next year in mind, trying to impress Eddie Einhorn and the people that he may have in place for next season.
We're going to have a holding penalty on Houston on the block. Take a look at this punt again. This is just a great punt. As Gossett gets the thing off, and McNeil makes a good play because he runs over and catches it. If he doesn't catch it, he's near the sideline there, although you can't see it, it could bounce out of bounds. McNeil takes it upfield, and one thing to remember, the Chicago team did not get any draft choices, and most of the players they've picked up on waivers. And you know what happens then? Those waiver players become starters, and everybody else winds up on the special teams. Special teams not very strong for Chicago.
You might be wondering, where is Vince Evans, the Chicago Blitz big name, former star for the Chicago Bears? Well, he's on the bench, and right now he's talking to Jim Bergamo. Jim.
Corey, Vince Evans has been on the bench for the last 2 weeks for what his coach termed poor play. And Vince, I've got to ask you, do you feel you're playing poorly enough to be benched?
Well, quite naturally, I'm going to say no to that question. I think in certain situations, you're never as bad as you thought you were, and you're never as good as you thought you were, so that always leaves room for improvement. And I don't really think that it was totally justified in the benching of myself, but I think sometimes in the coach's eyes, they see themselves as trying to make a change, trying to get something, some type of motivation going, and in doing that, it always seems to happen at the quarterback position.
All right, it's the coach's part first, then the quarterback comes next. So better luck to you, Vince, and maybe the Chicago Blitz can get on track. Back to you, Corey and Kevin.
Okay, thank you, Jim. You saw the play as we were listening to Vince Evans, where Jim Kelly threw the ball up in the air. And here it is again, Kevin. Malcolm Taylor coming on hard.
Malcolm Taylor, motivation. We just heard the word. There it is. Malcolm Taylor down 21-3. What a great play. And again, Jim Kelly drops that ball, doesn't try to catch it, and they gain yardage, doesn't get a chance to get hurt. Jim's a great competitor. You should learn to drop the ball a little bit more and not try to make tackle.
2nd and 23, the Houston 16. 4:32 to go here in the first half. Fowler, lots of room, 30, 35, 40, still on his feet, brought down the 44-yard line. First down, Houston, and then some. Carlton Peoples makes the saving tackle. Jack Pardee applauding the play, as he should. 28 yards on the ground, and that play for Fowler.
When you're trying to make a tackle, as you'll see Ronnie Harris, number 20, come into the picture here. I hope on the right side here. Well, you get a block there by Johnson down the end. We missed Harris. He took a bad angle, had a shot at Fowler earlier. Maybe could have brought him down, but good run by Fowler. And again, he's a horse. If he gets loose in the secondary, it's going to give you a problem.
One argues the fact that he's one of the classiest guys in professional football. Kelly, all kinds of trouble. Can't find anywhere to Malcolm Taylor in his face again. It's Randy Jost is there, number 66. I wouldn't be surprised to see Todd Dillon in fairly soon, the second-string quarterback. Kelly scrambling. He can run, and he will across the 40. Knocked down at the 41, hit very hard by Taylor and Ken Kelly. And that's the kind of play I don't think Jack Pardee wants to see him do.
I tell you, I'd like to see Mouse Davis's face when Kelly runs.
Exactly.
Mouse probably, he probably shrinks another 5 inches every time Kelly goes down. You see the Chicago defense there, and this is typical of what Houston's offense will do. They get you running in 5 different directions at once. Should we cover the receiver? Should we check on Kelly? Should we watch out for Fowler on the draw? But the one thing, if you get a shot at Kelly in the secondary, you bury him, and that's what they did there.
Kelly's a tough kid, and he enjoys, I think, the physical contact. Earlier in the year, we saw him many times run to the sidelines and bury his head for an extra couple yards instead of stepping out of bounds, which Mouse Davis wants him to do. Kelly dumps it off Fowler. He's got a blocker. Across midfield.
What a hit.
Let's call it at midfield. Didn't quite make it across. Ron Harris came up from his position and knocked him good.
Here's a guy I just said missed a tackle, and he should have had better position. He had it on that play.
So Walters is back to punt. Donnell Daniels, a short punt. Donnell comes on, catches it on the run, and hit immediately at the 32-yard line. Big hit there. Marcus Anderson in motion. The blitz with Reeves tossing it out to Gary Worthy. Flag down on the play. Reeves wants to throw across the middle, has a man, and the ball is dropped out there by Gary Worthy. Hit him right in the chest. Reeves, terrible pass. Was it tipped? I believe it had to be. Cleveland Crosby came in hard from the left side. It's Chris Haynes kind of shaking his head. Let's see if we can see Cleveland come in here.
You hate to be predictable, and there's Crosby as he gets his hand up, his right hand. You hate to be predictable. Chicago trailing by 18 points is predictable, and the Houston defense knows that, and they're going to cause him some problem.
I'm glad that ball was tipped. It was a weird-looking pass. 3rd and 20 for the blitz. 24-yard line. Less than 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Reeves again. Incomplete pass. Mark Keel, the intended receiver. Mark is upset. Calvin Eason is there.
To stick them out, but when possible, get your body in there.
Is there a place we can write for further instruction, Kevin? Jeff Gossett gets it off. McNeil, averaging 31 yards returning punts today, gets that one for about 5. And with 1:33 to go here in the first half, Houston once again has a chance to put some more points on the board. There is Jim Kelly. First down. That's Scott McGee. Scott McGee from Orland Park, Illinois, Chicago suburb. Went to Carl Sandburg High School there. Matter of fact, a former state high school wrestling champion.
Of course, another thing, one of the really frustrating things about playing Houston is if you do fall behind, Jack Pardee doesn't have the option of stalling the ball because his offense is so high-powered that even when they slow it down, they go upfield.
We've got 1:29 to go, first half. That is Ricky Sanders in motion. Kelly, Sanders, 45. Shakes it out a little bit across to the 45-yard line of Chicago. Tommy Wilcox forces him on downs, and the clock stops with 1:22 to go. So as you can see, the Houston offense never stops. It's very much like, as I think you mentioned earlier today, very much like the two-minute offense all the time.
Well, that's exactly what it is. It may even be more high-powered than a 2-minute offense, because I think in the 2-minute offense, you even run the ball more than you do in the Houston offense. Draw play is really exclusively, although there are variations of the draw, the only running play in the Houston arsenal.
Ricky Sanders having a heck of a day. 6 catches, 67 yards. They give the Fowler his time. He's stopped up. The ball is loose. Let's see who recovers. Chicago with the football. It's Ken Kelly coming out, and who grabbed that football? Was it Ken? If it was. Let's see what happens here in the replay, Kevin.
Okay, this is that draw play we're talking about. The blitz is on, and Fowler's job is to find a seam in that blitz. He does that, but the Chicago defense, is hitting pretty hard, as you can see right there. And remember, as Corey said earlier, a lot of these guys are playing for their new owner, and they want to get picked up next year, so you're not going to see any drop-off in motivation from the blitz. I mean, these guys want to work, and they want to work in Chicago next year.
Ken Kelly was the man to come up with that football after the hit by Jeff Gabrielson. So the blitz with 1:16 to go on their own 41. See if they can't get something going here in the waning moments. The pass is caught at the midfield strike by Gary Worthy. Worthy is an interesting story. You ever heard of a Wilmington College, Kevin?
Wilmington, I went there, my undergraduate.
Nah, you did not. I don't believe you for a second. A little college in Ohio, about 900 students. Worthy graduated from Wilmington, scored 72 touchdowns in his career. It's unbelievable. This is Haynes on the near side, and Reeves is working the clock very well, out of bounds at the Houston 43-yard line. Another first down for Chicago. Could be a first-place team. They win that ball game today. Reeves over the middle, Worthy, 30-yard line. He's got some room, 20. Can he get away? No. 15-yard line, big gainer. I think the biggest play from scrimmage for Chicago today with 39 seconds to go. First and 10, 39 seconds to go. That's Worthy. Reeves going for Haynes in the end zone. Is it picked off?
Haynes makes his move. The ball's already in the air. And now he's going to go for it, but look at Mitchell. Mitchell gets in front, he's got the ball, and Haynes plays the defensive man as he drags his arm off and makes him drop the ball. Could have been a costly interception for Chicago.
35 seconds to go, second and 10. 15-yard line. Haynes, number 89. It's Worthy in the slot left side. Going to Haynes again, end zone. Has he got it? Touchdown, Chicago. Great catch by Worthy in the end zone, or Haynes in the end zone, I should say. Super play.
Haynes, as you'll see, proud of Notre Dame, makes him a good move there as he turns Mitchell around. And on defense, when you get turned around, everything goes crazy. The legs and the arms don't want to work. Haynes makes a good diving catch and a terrific throw by Reeves right by the end line, the back of the end zone.
Ron Reeves to Chris Haynes, 15 yards, and Chicago about to make this score 21-10 if Seibel can come through with the extra point. He does. A 21-10 ball game. The blitz coming back. And you got to admire the way they fought back here late in the first half. And I bet they're fired up on the sidelines about it now.
One thing you don't want to do against a team like this that's kind of downtrodden, had a rough year, and they're trying to pull together. Houston started out like a house of fire, and they were just blowing them out of the park. Kelly throws 2 interceptions, gives them field position. They get 3 points out of that. Then Fowler, when they're running the ball out at the end of the half, inside 2 minutes, drops the ball. Chicago picks it up, and then their only drive of the day. A good, solid drive. They get in the end zone. They're only down by 11. A lot to pat each other on the back about it in the locker room.
48 seconds was all it took for Chicago to go 58 yards, 5 plays. The final one, of course, Reeves to Haynes in the end zone, 15 yards. 21-10, line shot kick. Caught by Kerrville, 20-25, out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. Vince Kerrville, number 83, out of Rice University. 22 seconds remain.
Time for Houston to score and stop for a sandwich.
He could score a touchdown, a field goal, and then some time left over. And this 22 seconds is a long time. 31-yard return. We've talked about it. They'll be ready. So far they are. 21-10. Kelly, the punt. Has he got some time or what? Throws it away. Good play. Using his head there. Kelly to Johnson. Incomplete pass at the 45 of Chicago. Seconds to go. Second and 10, 49 of Houston. Kelly going for it all. He's got McNeil overthrew him at about the 10-yard line. Carlton Peoples provided the coverage. 3 seconds to go. There is a flag on the field. See if Kelly doesn't loft it up top one more time. How about it? Here we go. It is incomplete. Set about the 5-yard line. And it's Clarence Verdun over there throwing some dirt in the air, and that is it for the first half. Jack Pardee, Jim Kelly and the Gamblers head to the locker room. Dick James back to receive for Chicago. Tony Fritz going to kick it away. Is the Blitz trying to stay in this football game. Right now it's 21-10. Fritz, a squibber. Knocked down 30-yard line, and I believe that is Dennis Puha. At about the 38, and it is. Puha, the big defensive lineman for Chicago.
Puha's 6'2", 262, and that's a defensive lineman's dream to catch a kickoff.
Just bury it away and put your head down and pump the legs and see what happens.
Because if he lost 7 or 8 pounds, his hips should probably work better.
Ron Reeves is still in the ball game at quarterback for Chicago. They started out here at the 38-yard line. Reeves, handoff. Vegas Ferguson pushes it up towards the 45-yard line. Tommy Myers, the veteran back there for Houston, is the man to bring Vegas down.
Talked about early in the game that Chicago's game plan was to run more as you look at Vegas Ferguson. Take a look at this Houston defense. They don't want to be run on. And Chicago had been throwing the ball late in the first half. We'll probably see more of Chicago's game plan now that they're back in the game.
In the backfield, Turdell Middleton and Jim Stone, and that's Reeves being thrown to the turf very quickly by Mike Hawkins.
They ran the quarterback draw successfully earlier in the game. I believe it was the same play, although it was stopped so quickly it's hard to tell. But Houston, remember, good defensive people. It's not that they don't ever get beat. It's that they don't get beat twice by the same play. You have to have a good memory to play defense.
Chicago 3rd and 5, their own 42. Andy Hawkins also out there.
Reeves has had a bunch of passes dropped. Very accurate arm. As you see Keel holding his arm, his hand, maybe that's why he didn't catch it. But he had an opportunity to grab that one, the ball on his fingertips, and that was a big down for Chicago because every half you need to reestablish your confidence. Now look at this. Reeves drops back. He gets the blocking. And watch him lay this thing right on Keel's fingertips. A tough catch, but a catch that could have been made. And then Eason, expecting it probably to be caught, isn't ready for it to hit him in the chest.
Gossett into punt. Averaging an impressive 50.2. They had the rush on. Flag is down. Going to be roughing the punter as the ball comes down at about the 22-yard line. Houston came in with everybody, just about blocked it, but they got Gossett's leg. He goes down, and you see the penalty being called.
This is an automatic first down, and I'll tell you what, this is one of the biggest plays in football. You have to know how to block a kick. You have to go across the face of the punter. You've heard it a million times. Houston actually had so many guys close, they knocked each other into the punter.
That's right.
And the penalty, well, it's still a penalty. It's not an automatic first down. It's what it is. It's a yardage call, and I believe wherever it falls.
Running into the kicker, defense number 41.
See, I was right.
Sure it is. Sure it is. Chicago with the ball on the 48-yard line. And a big break. A big break.
I should have kept my mouth shut. I had it right the first time.
There's Gossett. Used to play some minor league baseball. He'll take a penalty like that anytime the team gets the ball back. Turdell Middleton. Turdell Middleton, you say, hey, that's a familiar name, and you're right. Same guy. He'll play for the Green Bay Packers for some 5 years back in the late 70s and early 80s. In fact, back in 78, he was an all-pro, rushed for 1,176 yards, also caught 332 yards.
That's Diallo. He's the enforcer on defense. Every defense has one. You don't want him. He didn't get a good shot at Turdell, and that's because of his experience. He wants to stay away from those linebackers, especially Diallo in Houston.
Far side, that is Haynes. Very close to the first down. Mike Mitchell is there.
See what that penalty did. It gave Chicago another life and a little bit of momentum offensively, and Houston has got to stop killing themselves. Haynes in motion. They're playing him soft on the corners. They've been doing it all day. Not a great throw, but plenty of room from the defense, and he gets out of bounds.
Vegas Ferguson, Larry Canada, your running backs for Chicago. Anderson, Chris Haynes, your wide receivers. The pitch, Canada trying to turn the corner. Nothing doing. Cleveland Crosby is back there to trip him up behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of about 3 for Chicago. But you're right. Gossett will try it again. A boomer. Let it fly out of bounds at about the, ref's going to call it about the 8-yard line, maybe. After their 11th victory on the year, the Blitz came in at 5-10. Kelly going to run. Slides into second base. Safely at the 13. Smart play. Ken Kelly is there. That's right.
Mouse is glad it was safely. I remember when this team was 6-5 and they were talking about playing in the Michigan game. They had to win. As we look at Jim Kelly's stats, pretty good except for those 2 interceptions, which have, as I said, caused Chicago to come back in the game. We talked about they had to win. They said they had to win the Michigan game. They lost it in overtime, and the team has good character. They came back and bang, they ripped off this streak, and now they're in the driver's seat in that division. I'm sure they didn't expect it to be this way.
In fact, the Gamblers have lost 4 games this year by 3 points, 3 of them in OT by a field goal. This is Richard Johnson, gets back on his feet, slides out of bounds, and I believe he's got a first down. Carlton Peoples chases him out at about the 25-yard line. Let's check this one out again, Kelly.
This pattern has been open all day. It's an underneath pattern. Watch him go underneath Sanders. There's really nobody there. If he doesn't fall, he's going to get big yardage, but he hits the skin of the infield and slips, then goes out of bounds. But that pattern has been wide open.
The record was 1,322 yards. He came in 86 yards shy. So Johnson, the record books as well today. That ball was intended for Scott McGee. Within 100 yards of Dan Fouts, all-time American Pro Football record for passing yardage in one season. Kelly may run again, and he does. 30-35, knocked out of bounds there. 36-yard line by Ken Kelly. Jim Kelly, no relation to Ken Kelly, in case you're wondering, is running a lot here in the second half.
Chasing him, and I'll tell you, Kelly wasn't gliding. He was running here because 6'6", 284-pound Malcolm Taylor, no dandelion, believe me, is chasing him. If Kelly stops, he's going to get buried. He knows it.
Former head coach with the Kansas City Chiefs, of course. Kelly fumbles the football, jumps on top of it. On a 3rd and 1 situation, that hurts, and Chicago will get the ball back on the punt from Houston. Had a 72-yard punt return for touchdown versus Los Angeles earlier in the year, the 2nd longest in the USFL this season. Got the flag back there. We're going to have a roughing the punter call this time against Chicago. Don't see it that often. We've seen 2 here in the 3rd quarter. That's the call. 38-yard line. As Sanders in motion. Fowler, the running back. soften the pain a little bit.
It's the run and shoot at its best. Let's take a look. Sanders goes down. Kelly actually checked off the Sanders, I believe. Fouts tries to get it. He's late. And now it's just a race to the end zone. And Sanders and these other guys on Houston can run wide open field. He gets a block at the end line here. Kind of a screen block. Let's pick it up as he goes in. Right there was a screen block. And he jumps in there, but he pulls it. A lot of times you run that way, you pull like a muscle in the top of your hamstring or your buttock, and it looked like that's what he was grabbing for when he went in there.
So Tony Fritz will try it this time from a 15-yard line to get that extra point. He will try to make it a 28-10 ball game. And he does. We've been talking about it all afternoon. It's just happened. The Houston Gamblers have just broken the San Diego Chargers' all-time record for total offense in a season. That was 67-66. They broke it on that 62-yard touchdown strike from Kelly to Sanders by 21 yards. And look out, you got a tank running at you at about the 41-yard line. 8:45 to go. It's now a 28-10 ball game. Ron Reeves still at the controls for Chicago. Gonna dump it off. Little screen pass. Larry Canada across midfield. Goes over his own man and drives inside the 45 of Houston. Ricky Sanders is smiling, as I mentioned. Good thing his leg is in decent shape. Reeves going to Haynes, unable to hang out of the football at the 25-yard line. The Houston 45-yard line. Ferguson. Slot to the near side. Canada out of the backfield. It's to Ferguson, and he spins his way down to about the 23-yard line, where he's caught by Hollis Hall. 22-yard reception. Reeves to Vegas out of the slot back position.
Ferguson only caught 9 passes coming in here, and they make a great adjustment. Reeves looks for Ferguson. Ferguson stepped back across the field to get in line with that pass, found an open spot. Now he's loose in the secondary for big yardage. Chicago's not giving up. For all the adversity, this team is trying to score points and win this football game.
Vegas Ferguson, fine athlete. Even volunteers for special teams duty, where he's one of the co-leaders in tackles made. Reeves pumping, going to the end zone, lofting it up. It's overthrown, in fact, almost picked off by Mike Mitchell. There's a flag.
Mitchell held him up. Mitchell held him up on the sideline. They're going to call it. Haynes had him beat. The pump fooled Mitchell. He came up, and Haynes was gone deep, and Mitchell just grabbed him. And I don't think you're going to get an argument from Mike Mitchell, number 34. Let's take a look at this top of your screen. Haynes breaks out, and as he broke out, Mitchell came up, and then you can see it. You see as he put his arm on him. If you can watch, see a guy's shoulders sag under his shoulder pads, then Mike Mitchell's shoulders are sagging right now. He's had a rough day, and Haynes is giving him a pretty good working over.
Haynes is a good player.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 35. Automatic first down.
First and 10, 19-yard line. Chicago threatening. That's Haynes, top of your screen, yelling down to Reeves, trying to get their signal straight. Handoff. Canada. Hit hard by Tony Fitzpatrick. Canada moves ahead for about 3. Graduated about 10 years ago, I would suppose. 6:19 to go. 28-10. Blitz trying to get things a little bit closer. Reeves will try to pass. It's got Turdell Middleton at the 7. First reception of the day for Turdell. Tommy Myers is there to bring him down. The blitz looking good. All right, the blitz moving the football. Ron Reeves at the control. The Houston fans want to see the defense come up big here and make the stop. First and 7. Canada trying the right side. He is tripped up there. Cleveland Crosby with help from Pete Caton.
Some of the things that Chicago has been doing on the goal line, this is one of them, Canada, trying to run them up the middle. When they don't do this, they have thrown the ball to Canada, and you can always look for a tight end.
You've got Middleton and Canada, your running backs. Marshall in the secondary.
Let's take a look at it. See, as the guard ran into the quarterback, and then they had a little trouble with the handoff, and Middleton just gets a couple of yards.
3rd and goal. 5-yard line. Reed's going to put it up in the end zone. It is incomplete. Going for Brian Glasgow, the reserve tight end. Trying to make it a 28-13 ball game. Kevin in the first half hit a 38-yarder. It'll be 23 yards. The place down. It is up and good. The Express 17-10 over Oklahoma. That ball game is in the 3rd quarter. Also in the 1st quarter, Washington leads Birmingham 7-0, and that's the game that was postponed about 2 hours because, Kevin, something you can identify with, heat. You're in Birmingham last week. It's bad.
It was hot in Birmingham last week.
The kickoff at the 10-yard line. Clarence Verdun sweeping across the field, trying to cut up. Still on his feet, not out of bounds. Keeps the legs pumping. Finally brought down at the 18-yard line. I heard you were far more than a borderline play.
Yeah. Talking to my parents.
You're too modest. That's Fowler. Gain of a couple yards. Let's go to New York now. ABC Sports Control and check in on what's happening around the USFL.
You're going to have a look at a halfback pass here for a touchdown. Rod Pegues, who used to play quarterback when he went to Oklahoma, throwing to Herschel Walker for 44 yards. It gave the Generals a 31-13 lead over the Breakers at the Meadowlands, and the Breakers had failed on a similar play just moments before. Now back to Corey McFerrin.
Boy, nice looking throw there in that New Jersey game. Jim Kelly scrambling, going to take it himself. Moves out of bounds, as you saw, right in front of the first down marker. Kelly gets the first on his own legs. We might also mention that Jim right now is 14 yards away from a 300-yard game, which would be his 9th of the year, which would once again break another record, which is the most 300-yard games in a season, held again by Dan Fouts with the San Diego Chargers. So
Dan's having a bad day. He's not even here.
Kelly coming back across the field. He's looking for Johnson and just overshot him. 3rd and 10. Kelly to McGee. He's got the first down. McGee gets loose across midfield, diving forward to the 46. This guy can play the game too.
This is vintage Jim Kelly on the run. Look at this throw. What a throw. What an arm this guy has. Throws it into coverage. Threads the needle high enough so McGee's the only one who can get it. And then McGee comes down and makes a nice run. Beats the defense. And except for the pursuit by Gabrielson, he might have been gone.
And again, we mentioned that record was coming up, and there it is. We need a computer to keep track of all these things.
He's going to break our machine before the day's over.
1st and 10, 45-yard line. Fowler busting through, keeps it moving. Like to see Fowler run to the 32-yard line. And Kevin Kiley, and I give you an idea how Fowler is thought of around the National Football League. He was selected in the supplemental draft last week by the Dallas Cowboys in the 1st round.
Well, except for this league, a lot of players would not have had an opportunity to play football and show just how good they are, and there's a bunch of them on this Houston team. You don't need any words to describe what Fowler's doing. Sanders, Johnson are great receivers. Kelly would have been drafted anyway, but a lot of the linemen and defensive people are getting opportunities and making the most of them here in the United States Football League.
Fowler, 10 carries, 93 yards. Another first down for Houston. Less than a minute to go, 3rd quarter. Nice touch pass. Richard Johnson, 10-yard line. Good looking play. Jerry Argovitz, the owner of the Houston Gamblers. I talked to him before the game, and he is psyched up.
They're going to call this one back, but the defense is not bad on this. Look at the coverage that Harris has. He's on his back. It's just a... How can you stop that? That pass is in a perfect spot, and he makes a good catch. Perfect offense is perfect offense. You can't do anything about it, except get a penalty.
Which brings it back. Right.
Holding. Offense, number 67. Still first down.
And 20. touchdown, Chicago. However, Blitz fans, before you get excited, there is a penalty, and it is against Chicago.
Get the blitz as you see Kelly drop back, and then you see Johnson go out. Now Harris, number 20, the corner, is reading a blitz, and he's going to take a chance like we said they had to. It's a perfect play. But just as happened to Houston, a penalty is going to nullify, and that just absolutely is going to kill Chicago.
Kevin, that has got to be the greatest feeling in the world, to pick that thing off and at the same moment realize there's nobody for 50 yards.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, a blow to the face mask, number 25 defense, first stop.
You heard it, Tommy Wilcox. Mark Bruce in motion. Fowler up the middle. Struggles for a couple. Less than 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Mike Morgan made the hit against Fowler.
Even though that was not a scoring play, I think it shows you how quickly a game can turn.
Sure. Total yards, 419. That is through 3 quarters of play. Time of possession, almost 25 minutes for Houston to 15 minutes for Chicago. And if you're wondering, Houston has yet to hit their average point per game total, which is 34.3, but they're working on it. Second and 9, 25. Look out! Kelly gets it off just in time before he's hit from the blind side. Incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 9. Kelly, Fowler, he's got some blockers. Heads inside. First down, Houston. Ryan Harris is there to bring him down.
46 Fowler to the left of your screen. He lets Taylor in, they throw it over his head, and here comes Fowler.
And we got one more record, Kevin. That is it. 323 yards on the day, so he surpasses Dan Fouts, the all-time single-season mark for yardage. They just keep coming. What a year for Jim Kelly. Fowler looking for someplace to go, doesn't find it.
I think we need to say a little bit about Darrell Davis, the offensive coordinator here. He was with Portland State University. You may remember Neil Lomax was a great quarterback for Portland State with the Cardinals. He had some great receivers, including Clint Didier, who is with the Redskins now. But they led the nation in passing and total offense for 6 straight years. And Mouse never really got the recognition. He got a hold of Kelly, got a hold of Jerry Argovitz, the Houston team, and he's put together an offense that may revolutionize pro football.
13:30 left. Gamblers lead 28-13. Kelly wants more. Johnson, or Bruce, I should say, and he waltzes in. Nice looking spike. 12 yards. Kelly to Mark Bruce. And that looked too easy. Tony Fritsch is on for the extra point.
Did you know they call him the love machine?
I wasn't aware of that.
Why, you wonder?
The love handles? I don't know. 35-13. See the touchdown again. Kelly to Bruce.
All right, Corey, it's the underneath pattern. What they do, they run people off, and then they send Bruce underneath. And Kelly just takes that little sprint out. There's nobody there. Real tough on the goal line to stop that, and Bruce just kind of steps in.
They're having a party at the Astrodome this afternoon. Gamblers in front, 35-13. The fans having a great time today. Tony Fritsch about to kick it off. The Gamblers lead 35-13. Vic James at about his 12-yard line. Going to receive it at the 7. Up the middle. Dives across the 30. Or Chicago's offense will take over. Let's now head down to the sidelines once again, and Jim Bergamo. Jim.
Well, with me, Jim Kelly, and Jim, we're making a habit of this. Seems like when it rains it pours. You've got another record that went by the wayside, the single season mark by Dan Fouts. How does that feel?
Great. I'll tell you what, I told my parents last week that I was going to wait for this week to do it, and just thank God for it. Our offensive line is doing a heck of a job against them because they're coming. They're blitzing almost every time. Receivers like Ricky Sanders and Mark Barros and people like that just catching the ball. That makes me. Don't just take one person, it's 11.
All right, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's the kind of attitude you'd expect. Sounds like a gangster about now in the fourth quarter, doesn't he? To Bruce for 12 yards. And it's now 35-13. Ron Reed still in the ball game for the Blitz. Gary Worthy. In the slot, that's Canada. Single setback. It's going to be to Canada. Gets around one man across the 30. Tackled by Kiki Diallo. The 35-yard line, Kiki Diallo. A great name again. Great player for the University of Texas. 9 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. The Olympic boxing trials right here on ABC. Reeves, incomplete. That ball intended for Chris Haynes was not there. 3rd and 6 for Chicago. Reeves. Incomplete. Almost picked off by Will Lewis. Lewis has been hot of late in the interception department. He had 2 last week. He's had 5 in the last 3 games. He's the team leader with 7. Almost made it 8. Let's watch it.
Okay, Reeves, they know he has to pass when you're down by as many points as Chicago is, and you can afford to take chances. Lewis with the great reaction, and then again, we've got the offensive man playing defense there, trying to keep the ball from going the other way.
That's Jeff Gossett. McNeil is back. Good-looking punt. Gossett is an excellent punter. Back at the 12. McNeil left side. Got some speed. Great move. Cuts outside. 40, 45. Cuts back across midfield to the 50-yard line. Wow. I like the way Gerald McNeil runs. Vegas Ferguson is the man to make the stop at midfield. I'll take McNeil any day. Houston 35, Chicago 13. More in a moment.
Is a fantastic quarterback, and the playoffs are coming up. You have to wonder how long he's going to last in this game, and whether they should keep him in there.
Todd Dillon is the backup quarterback, in case you're wondering. This is Todd Fowler, up to about the 15-yard line. Donnell Daniel is there.
They talk about Fowler, and they say the thing about Fowler is that he'll find somebody to hit. There are guys like that. Whether the play's going to him or not, he's going to find somebody, and he's going to try to take a shot at him. And that's a guy who just likes to play football. And the thing about his contract, too, he has a minimal contract, a very small bonus, and he has a great relationship with the Houston team. Even as I speak, Todd Dillon comes into the game, and Jim Kelly goes out.
Kevin, we got a hotline down on the bench or something? It was uncanny. Todd Dillon comes in the game, replacing Jim Kelly with 11:05 to go. 2nd and 7. Gonna pump it out. Intended for McNeil. Nice little throw and a good catch at the 32-yard line. A good touch on that ball because McNeil was defended very well on the near sideline.
And how much is Kelly and how much is the offense? Of course, Kelly is a great quarterback, but this offense will work against just about anybody if you have an accurate arm. Kelly's got all the superhuman qualities. Let's take another look at this here and see why the offense works. You've got a man cutting up and another man coming over. Everybody on the defense is running in different directions, and Dillon, of course, knows who to throw the ball to, so they complete passes.
Another Houston first down. Todd gives it off to another Todd. That's Fowler, number 46. Todd Fowler is now over 100 yards on the day. Todd Dillon out of Cal State, Long Beach. Back in 1981, in fact, had a great year there. Became the NCAA's number 2 all-time leader in total offense. You see Jim Kelly. Got to be relief. Well, your day is done. The records are broken. You can relax and go on to bigger and better things.
Todd Dillon holds 16 school and conference records. from college. This guy's no slouch. He can do the job.
Now Davis has told us he likes Dillon a lot and doesn't feel uncomfortable at all about handing the offense over to him. Dillon very comfortable back there, gets away, is scrambling, and gives it out. That is Bruce, who is down to about the 47-yard line of Chicago. Carlton Peoples is there to bring him down.
Well, let's take a look at it here. Now watch Dillon. He pulls up in the pocket just like Kelly does. He's looking, doesn't find anybody, but now he feels, uh-oh, it's getting late here. Let me get out of here. Changes direction and then has the presence of mind to find a receiver. He does it, and they get more yardage.
47-yard line. That is first down number 26 on the afternoon for Houston. Dillon will go long this time. Sanders. Penalty flag.
A little bit of the strength of Dillon's arm, even though this ball is thrown short. He throws it off his back foot. Now watch Donnell Daniel here. I'm almost sure this is the call. I see him hold his hands up in front of the receiver's face to keep him from getting the ball. I don't know if it's so much contact as screening his line of vision.
Pass interference. Defense number 19. Automatic first down.
First and 10, 32, 9:17 to go. Sam Harrell gets 2 or 3. Sam's second carry of the afternoon. The first one resulted in a touchdown. What's funny is Harrell's missed 7 weeks of playing time, yet he's still the number 2 scorer in the Western Conference. Kelly firing, incomplete. Greg Mosier, the intended receiver. Did I say Kelly? I meant Dillon, of course. See if he can hit it. Plenty of distance, and it's good. That could have been a 53-yard field goal. So Tony Fritsch has something to celebrate as well. And the party continues. Houston 38, Chicago 13. Tony, of course, he's been around Dallas, San Diego, Houston, New Orleans. Here it is. Boom. That thing is kissed. Look who comes over to congratulate him.
First guy out. The number 1 passer in American football, professional football history. That says a lot for the team, I
think it does. And I think you got to look at Houston in these playoffs. The way they are playing, about to win their 5th consecutive game. They have not played better all year long. Chicago with Vince Stroff. Neat sounding name. Out of Richmond, Indiana. Reeves, Canada, falls to the 47-yard line. JoJo Heath tackles him there. Second quarter, Canada again across midfield. 45 down to the 43 of Houston. Tommy Myers stops him cold there. Canada enjoying the best game, or the best season, I should say, of his entire professional football career. Played for 3 years with the Denver Broncos. But as we mentioned earlier, he's got well over 750 yards this year, averaging 5.4 a game. Jim Stone replacing Canada in the backfield. This is Reeves, the bullet pass to Worthy, and he's got it at the 36-yard line.
We talked about, we looked at Birmingham trailing Washington 14-0. Birmingham has not yet clinched their division. They need to win some games. They lost last week to Arizona. They're trailing the Federals. They could put themselves in a really tough position. They still have to play Tampa.
Jim Stone, draw play. Jim Stone, another of the Notre Dame graduates on his football club. In fact, he's one of the very few original Blitz, Jim Stone is. There's Ron's stats for the day. 14 of 28, 100 and a half, a touchdown and interception.
He was 6 for 15 at one point in this game and had a bunch of passes dropped. And I think Reeves has played very well myself. He's had some very key passes dropped that would have kept drives alive.
Chicago inches away from a first down. Vegas Ferguson has got the first, turns the corner, 25-yard line, 24-yard line.
Take a look at this. Vegas across the formation. The one thing probably that he's lost is that great breakaway speed he once had, and you see it here. He can't get outside as he turns upfield. The defense catches up with him, but a pretty good run from Vegas Ferguson.
Not a bad stiff arm either. 1st and 10, 24-yard line, 5:51 to go. Reeves gives it off. That is Jim Stone. Jim Stone inside the 20, where he's hit at the 17 by Calvin Eason. Jim Stone getting some time. Look at that stat. 27-12 in the first down department. Reeves, who's completed his last 4 passes, going for 5. Almost caught out there by Stone. Thought maybe it would fall into his arms as he hit the turf, but didn't quite work out for him. Ricky Young made the hit.
Reeves does a very subtle thing here, and a very, very good thing. He looks and he watches the linebacker, steps on one side. He throws it to the other side of the linebacker. See that? Look where he threw it. He threw it high and away from the linebacker, and Stone could have maybe caught that ball. That's a good example of what's happened to Reeves today. He's thrown some really good passes that might have been caught.
3rd and 4 for Reeves and the blitz. The reserve tight end, had he caught the ball, that would have been 6. Didn't happen.
Reeves got to feel a little bit beleaguered watching Kelly break all every record in the book here and having some of his receivers drop the ball. When you wear shoulder pads, you know, it restricts the movement of your arms upward, and it's very hard to catch a ball directly over your head because you can't close your hands on the ball, and that ball was directly over the receiver's head.
And with 5:34 to go, when you're behind 38-13, you go for it on 4th and 4 from the opponent's 18. That's what Chicago is doing. And Reeves is hit down at the 30-yard line. And Houston has stopped Chicago's efforts to score. Pete Caton, his 2nd sack of the game.
You can only go so long. It's inevitable. Caton just sheds the offensive blocker, and Reeves is dead meat there.
Dillon once again, reminding you, is in the ball game in place of Jim Kelly, who has broken all the records he had a chance to break this afternoon. The day is done for Kelly. This is Johnson, makes a nice move, spins again, brought down at the 34-yard line by Dennis Puha, the big left tackle for Chicago. The interesting tidbits we pick up on the sideline. Clarence Verdun picks up about 7. In fact, we read earlier in the week where Jack Pardee was talking about Tony Fritz and said, you know, Tony's like the little boy. When he is good, he is very, very good, and when he's bad, he is awful. Dillon. Overthrown, intended for Verdun. About 3:41 to go.
He led the nation 6 straight years. Now, he could have only had the same quarterback, ideally, for 4 of those years. So the system has proven itself over the years. This is just the first time in professional football that he's had the opportunity to show.
In fact, Houston assistant coach June Jones played there, and he said he only grasped the offense his senior season. It takes a while to understand what you're doing. So Chicago with 1 crack left, perhaps, in this ball game to put some more points on the board. Ron Reeves still at quarterback. We have not seen Vince Evans at all today, except for standing on the sidelines. Reeves in heavy pressure, taken down by Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Crosby. Yeah. Former University of Arizona star, 6'5", 250 pounds. Let's watch Cleveland-Pittsburgh Crosby do his thing, Kev.
If there's going to be a letdown by Chicago, this is the spot. You're going to see it right now because they're just about out of the game. Everybody's coming for Houston. They make the play.
Reeves, incomplete, the near side, intended for Chris Haynes. 3 minutes left in the football game. Reeves got all kinds of running room, but elects not to run. Throws it up in the air to nobody. In fact, almost picked off. Houston, as I mentioned before, coming in number 2 in the league in quarterback sacks. I'm sure they'll retain that position after the 6 sacks today. Gossett, that's McNeil again. McNeil this time will not have an opportunity to run it. 38-13, Gamblers. Clarence Verdun in motion. Todd Dillon gives off to Sam Harrell. And Sam shows some of the stuff that made him such an excellent runner earlier in the year. Still has a little bit of tenderness, we understand, in that leg. He broke his fibula. It's in your leg, isn't it, Kev?
It's in my leg. I don't know about yours.
As far as I know, I have one too.
This is athletic ability. Now he's just a little bit more shifty than Fowler. Fowler's like the truck driver, and Sam's like a pilot here. It's
I like that.
Yeah, Sam,
I like that.
Yeah, Sam likes to fly around and over, but Fowler, he's just going to run you down.
Just going to bulldoze it. Yeah. 2 minutes remaining, and they have the football at the 47-yard line. Todd Dillon still at the controls. As Houston trying to go 11-5 on the year. Sam Harrell, and once again you see some of that movement that he is very capable of making.
You know, sometimes it goes with us and sometimes it goes against us. But, you know, for the most part, you know, it's been a pretty good team effort, and, you know, it's just a tough situation. But I think that's been resolved. So, you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, we got 2 more games. Hopefully we can win a couple and get on the right track.
All right, Glenn, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Jim and Glenn. You saw the completed pass to number 83, Vince Kerrville from Dillon. He was really pumped up last week when Chicago played against the Denver Gold, his former team. This time, the completed pass to Scott McGee from Todd Dillon. And Houston continues to move the football with 1 minute and 15 seconds.
From the playoffs until the 3rd week from the end of the season. No, I don't think we really need to say any more about Marvin either.
Sam Harrell, about 3. 18-yard line, Dillon again. Going right, putting it up. Might be a touchdown. Nope. That was Scott McGee. Could have been 6 more with 27 seconds to go. 3rd and 6, 18-yard line. Gonna put it up again. Kev, looks like it. Yeah. It is incomplete. Just about intercepted by Chicago. Ron Harris is there to break it up. It is out, and this time no good. So Tony Fritsch with 19 seconds to go tries to add 3 more points. Doesn't do it. Gets a slap on the rump from Malcolm Taylor. Dawson is smiling. No one really cares.
Tony's tee here now. He may have to throw this.
Go back to the old one, right?
Maybe just from long range. He overkicked that like a golf shot. Came over the top of the thing and just on the outside. Of course, again, kicker's concentration. You know, it doesn't mean anything. You lose your concentration, anything can happen.
Only the 4th time this year he's missed a field goal. 5 for 60 and 2 touchdowns. Less than 10 seconds to go. This is Reeves' incomplete pass at the 23-yard line.
Good effort, I think, by both teams.
Reeves to Marcus Anderson. Tries to get away from a couple guys. Spinning, tackle at the 32. And that is it. This football game is over. The Gamblers win it by a score of 38-13. Back with more in just a moment.